Over 60? These 10 vitamins rebuild weak legs fast. Most seniors have no idea. Are your legs getting weaker each day, even though you're eating healthy, staying active, and doing what your doctor told you? Do your knees ache just standing at the sink, or do your calves feel like they're made of rubber bands instead of muscle? If so, the real problem might not be your age. And what you're about to hear might shock you. Because according to new research from Harvard and Tufts, the right vitamins, taken in the right form, at the right time, may rebuild strength in aging legs faster than exercise alone. Yet most seniors have no idea they're missing these 10 crucial nutrients. So, if you've been struggling with weak legs, poor circulation, or balance issues, don't go anywhere. We're counting down the 10 vitamins that help rebuild muscle, restore energy, and give you the strength to walk, climb, and live freely again. And the most important one? It's the final item in this video. It's so overlooked, even doctors rarely mention it. Let's begin. Let's start with number 10, and it's one that's quietly missing from nearly every senior's daily routine. Vitamin E. Now, most people think of vitamin E as the skin vitamin, something that helps with wrinkles or maybe dry hands. But here's what most seniors don't realize. Vitamin E isn't just a beauty aid. It's actually a powerful circulatory antioxidant, meaning it protects your blood vessels, improves oxygen flow to your muscles, and supports the tiny capillaries in your legs that keep them moving and pain-free. Think of it this way. Your legs are like a network of rivers. As you age, those rivers narrow and slow down. Vitamin E acts like a gentle stream cleaner, clearing out blockages, protecting the delicate vessel walls, and letting nutrient-rich blood reach every corner of your lower body. And that's important, because without enough oxygen, your muscles start to weaken. They get tired faster. Recovery takes longer. And even a short walk can feel like a hike up a mountain. What's worse is that a deficiency in vitamin E can show up in very subtle ways. Have you ever noticed your feet or calves feel numb or tingly when sitting too long? Do your legs cramp at night even though you've had enough water? Those might not be hydration issues. They could be signs of poor circulation and your body crying out for more support. One Harvard study found that seniors who got more natural vitamin E had better walking endurance and leg strength than those who didn't, even with no changes to their exercise routine. But here's the kicker. Most seniors aren't getting nearly enough vitamin E from their diet. And those little gel caps at the drugstore? Many of them contain synthetic forms of vitamin E that your body doesn't absorb well. The good news? There's an easy fix. You can boost your vitamin E levels naturally with just a handful of sunflower seeds, a spoonful of wheat germ oil, or even by switching your cooking oil to something like unrefined safflower or almond oil. And yes, high-quality supplements made from natural tocopherols, especially D-alpha tocopherol, can help too. But the key is absorption. Without enough fat in your meal, vitamin E just slips right through you. So if you're taking a supplement, always pair it with a little healthy fat, like avocado or olive oil, to make sure your body actually puts it to use. It's small, it's simple, but it's one of the easiest ways to start improving leg health from the inside out. Now, while vitamin E helps improve circulation, the next one actually rebuilds the structural tissue of your muscles. Coming in at number 9, it's one you've probably heard of, but almost no one over 60 is getting enough of it to matter. This is the one that your muscles absolutely crave, especially after 60, but it quietly slips through the cracks of most supplement routines. Vitamin D3. Now, I know what you're thinking, isn't vitamin D for bones? You're right, partially. But what most seniors don't realize is that vitamin D isn't just for bone strength, it's for muscle activation. In fact, without enough vitamin D, your leg muscles literally cannot fire properly. You could be eating plenty of protein, walking every day, stretching, doing everything right, and still feel like your legs are weak, wobbly, or slow to respond. Here's why. Vitamin D3 is what scientists call a neuromuscular modulator. That means it tells your nerves when and how to turn on your muscle fibers. Without it, your body sends weaker signals to your legs. The result? Your steps get slower, your legs fatigue faster, and your risk of falling skyrockets. A major review published in the Journal of Gerontology found that seniors with low vitamin D levels had twice the risk of falling and 30% lower leg strength, even when they had normal muscle mass. That's the scary part. You might still have the muscle, but it's offline, unused, sleeping, because without vitamin D3, your body doesn't know how to activate that strength when you need it most, like stepping off a curb, standing up from a chair, or catching yourself when you trip. Sound familiar? Have you noticed moments where your legs just don't respond like they used to? Where your balance feels just a little off, or where you hesitate before stepping because you're unsure your body will catch you? You're not imagining it. It's often not about fitness, it's about function. And here's where it gets even trickier. Your body becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D as you age, especially if you have darker skin, live in a colder climate, or spend most of your time indoors, like many of us do. So even if you think you're getting enough sun, you might not be. Blood tests show that nearly 60% of adults over 60 are deficient in vitamin D, and most of them have no idea until a fall, a fracture, or a sudden drop in energy wakes them up to the problem. The solution? First, check your levels. A simple blood test can tell you if you're below the optimal range, typically 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter for seniors. Second, if you're supplementing, make sure it's vitamin D3, not D2. D3 is the form your body naturally makes from sunlight, and it's absorbed up to twice as well. And finally, don't forget to pair it with vitamin K2. This dynamic duo helps guide calcium into your bones and out of your arteries, keeping your blood vessels clear and your legs strong. Here's the good news. Most people feel the difference in just a few weeks. Less stiffness, more bounce in your step, less fear of falling. If you've been nodding along, that's no coincidence. You're not alone in this. Subscribe to our channel for weekly strategies to protect your brain, body, and independence after 60. And when you're ready for more than just videos, when you want trusted tools, research-backed routines, and a safe space to learn, come join us at thegoldenyearsrx.com. You belong there. And if you've ever felt like your legs are capable, but just not listening, this could be the missing key. But before you go reaching for another bottle, there's another vitamin that doesn't just help your legs, it helps your blood deliver more oxygen to every muscle fiber. Let's talk about number 8, and it's one of the most overlooked nutrients when it comes to endurance, energy, and walking strength. It is a quiet powerhouse that turns your blood into a high-efficiency fuel line for your legs. Most people think of it in the context of anemia, but that barely scratches the surface. We're talking about vitamin B12. Now, if you've been feeling slower lately, if walking uphill leaves you winded, or your legs feel like they're made of concrete after just a few minutes of activity, this one might hit close to home. Because B12 is like the ignition switch for oxygen transport. It helps your body build healthy red blood cells, the vehicles that carry oxygen to your muscles. And when you don't have enough B12, it's like trying to run a marathon with a paper straw. Your blood can't deliver enough oxygen to keep your leg muscles firing smoothly, and every step starts to feel like an uphill battle. But it gets even more concerning. Low B12 doesn't just cause fatigue. It's also directly linked to nerve damage, particularly in the legs. And not just any nerve damage, we're talking about that slow, creeping numbness or tingling that starts in your toes, climbs up your calves, and robs you of balance. Have you ever felt a strange buzzing or pins and needles sensation in your feet? Or maybe you've noticed that your steps feel less coordinated, like your legs aren't responding fast enough, or you're not lifting your feet quite as high as you used to. That might not be clumsiness. It could be B12 deficiency quietly eroding the nerve connections between your brain and your lower limbs. And unfortunately, this issue is far more common in seniors than most realize. Research from Harvard shows that up to 20% of adults over 60 are deficient in B12, largely due to a decrease in stomach acid, which is essential for absorbing this vital nutrient from food. And here's the sneaky part. The symptoms of B12 deficiency often mimic aging: tired legs, memory fog, lightheadedness, weakness, even mood dips. So people brush it off. I'm just getting older. No, you might be getting starved of the very nutrient your legs need to thrive. But here's the hopeful part. B12 is one of the easiest deficiencies to correct, and for most seniors, oral supplements don't work well enough. Why? Because if your stomach isn't producing enough acid, which is extremely common after 60, you won't absorb B12 effectively from pills. That's why many experts now recommend sublingual B12, the kind that dissolves under your tongue, or methylcobalamin injections if levels are severely low. These bypass the digestive system entirely and go straight into your bloodstream, where they can start reviving your legs from the inside out. And the difference? Often dramatic. One study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who corrected their B12 deficiency increased walking speed and leg strength by nearly 30% in just a few months. So, if you're feeling sluggish, if your steps feel heavier than they used to, or if your balance has become less reliable, this isn't something to ignore. You're not broken. You might just be missing the fuel your body needs to move with power. But before we get to the real game changers on this list, we're just warming up. Coming up next, number 7, is a vitamin most seniors have never even heard of, yet it plays a crucial role in preventing leg cramps, circulation problems, and even dangerous blood clots. This vitamin is so overlooked, many doctors don't even test for it routinely, yet missing it could tighten your legs like a vice, disrupt your circulation, and silently raise your fall risk. We're talking about vitamin K2. Now hold on, don't confuse this with K1, the more common version you get from leafy greens. K2 is different, and for your legs after 60, it's essential. Why? Because K2 is like the traffic controller for calcium in your body. Without enough of it, calcium ends up in all the wrong places, like your arteries, your joints, and yes, even your leg muscles. Think of it this way. You're trying to nourish your bones, but instead of the calcium going where it belongs, it gets dumped into your blood vessels. Over time, this can lead to something called vascular calcification, hardening of the arteries. And when your arteries stiffen, blood can't flow the way it should. That means less oxygen, less nutrient delivery, and more fatigue, heaviness, and leg cramping even if you haven't been walking very far. But it gets even more serious. Low K2 has been directly linked to muscle cramping and spasms, especially in the lower body. Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night with a brutal Charlie horse in your calf? Or felt a sudden, sharp tightening in your thigh just getting out of a chair? You're not imagining it. You're not weak. You could be low on K2. And here's where it hits harder for seniors. As we age, our absorption of this vitamin decreases, and most of us simply aren't eating the few foods that contain it. It's found in fermented foods like natto, a Japanese soybean dish, hard cheeses, and certain organ meats. Let's be real, how many of us are eating natto at 7 a.m.? And even if you do eat cheese, most U.S. dairy products are pasteurized in a way that removes much of the natural K2. So even seniors with great diets are quietly going without. But here's the good news. K2 supplements are now widely available, and when paired with vitamin D3, they form a kind of tag team that tells calcium, hey, go into the bones, not the arteries. In fact, research from the Rotterdam study found that people with the highest intake of K2 had 52% lower risk of artery calcification and significantly better mobility than those with the lowest intake. That's massive, because every percentage point your arteries stay clear is another step you take without pain, another walk to the park, another flight of stairs you don't dread, another day you feel confident standing on your own 2 feet. So, if you've been feeling tightness in your legs, cramps out of nowhere, or even just a sluggish kind of discomfort that makes it hard to enjoy a simple stroll, vitamin K2 might be your quiet missing link. Most people have never heard of it, but the seniors who start adding it, many of them say it transforms how their legs feel and how confident they feel in their own body. We're getting into the real heavy hitters now. Because number 6 is something most people think is for athletes, but for seniors with tired, shrinking legs, it could be the one thing that restores your power. Now let's move to the next vitamin, and this one might surprise you. Because it's not usually talked about in senior health circles, but it absolutely should be. We're talking about creatine. Yes, the same supplement bodybuilders and young athletes use, but don't let that throw you off. Because new research shows that creatine might be one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding weak legs in adults over 60. Here's why. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound in your body. It helps your muscles produce energy during short bursts of movement, like getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or catching yourself from a stumble. Now imagine you're running low. Suddenly, the simple movements you used to take for granted, they feel like climbing a hill with a backpack full of bricks. You might start noticing your steps feel shorter. Your balance feels off. Or you better get up from the couch and realize you need both hands to push. You're not being lazy. Your muscles are low on fuel, and creatine is the reserve tank. But here's what most people don't realize. After age 60, our natural creatine levels drop significantly, and it's even more dramatic if you've been eating less red meat or animal protein, which many seniors do to help their heart. So you may be running on fumes without realizing it. But get this, a growing number of studies now show that supplementing with creatine in older adults improves leg strength, increases muscle mass, boosts mobility and walking speed, and even supports cognition and mental sharpness. In one study published in the Journals of Gerontology, seniors who added creatine and performed simple resistance exercises gained more muscle and strength than those who exercised alone. Even more incredible, these results happened in just a few weeks. It's like waking your legs up from a nap they didn't mean to take. And you don't have to be a gym rat to benefit. In fact, even low doses of creatine, just 3 to 5 grams a day, have been shown to improve daily function in older adults. But here's the kicker. Most seniors have never tried it, or they think it's not for them. That mindset? It's costing people their independence. Because muscle loss after 60 is not just about appearance. It's about how fast you move, how well you balance, and how confidently you can catch yourself if you trip. If your legs are thinning, if you feel like you're shrinking, or if you've been avoiding stairs without realizing it, creatine could be the safest, fastest way to reclaim your strength. And no, it's not a steroid, and it won't bulk you up like a bodybuilder. It just restores the natural reserves your body once had. Thousands of seniors have made the switch, and they're walking taller, standing longer, and feeling more like themselves again. So don't roll this one out. Because number 5, it's even sneakier. And if your hands or feet feel cold all the time, it might be the one thing blocking blood flow to your legs right now. Let's talk about number 5, and if you've been struggling with cold feet, tingling hands, or that sluggish feeling in your legs, this might hit home fast. Because number 5 is vitamin E, and chances are, you've never been told what this one really does for your circulation, especially after 60. Most people think of vitamin E as just a skin vitamin. Maybe you've seen it in hand creams or anti-aging serums. But inside your body, vitamin E is like a traffic cop for your blood vessels. It keeps things flowing clean, smooth, and free of tiny clots or sticky buildup. And when your legs are feeling weak or heavy, this is one of the first vitamins to check. Here's why. As we age, our blood becomes more prone to oxidative stress. That's a fancy way of saying inflammation and internal rusting. Vitamin E acts like an antioxidant shield. It protects the lining of your arteries so they can stay flexible and wide open. Without enough of it, it's like driving down a highway with debris in every lane. Blood flow slows, pressure rises, and the cells in your feet and legs, the ones farthest from the heart, start to suffer first. What does that feel like? Cold toes, leg cramps, numbness that comes and goes, or that feeling like your feet fall asleep too easily and take too long to wake back up. Does that sound familiar? You're not imagining it. And it's not just age either. It's often a nutrient gap that can be corrected. Here's the other thing. Vitamin E also protects red blood cells, the ones that carry oxygen throughout your entire body. So, if you're low on it, you may feel a creeping fatigue you can't quite explain. A fatigue that shows up in your calves during walks, in your thighs when you try to stand for longer than usual, or in your brain as fog, forgetfulness, or a general sense of slowing down. But here's the good news. You don't need a high dose, and you don't need expensive supplements either. In fact, some of the richest sources of vitamin E are foods you can add into breakfast tomorrow: sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach sautéed lightly in olive oil, even a spoonful of wheat germ. These tiny tweaks can start restoring circulation in just days, especially when combined with hydration and light movement. But before you rush off to the health store, there's something else you need to know. Vitamin E works best in balance with other nutrients, like selenium and omega-3s. That's why people who rely on processed foods or low-fat diets often fall short without realizing it. So, if your legs feel off, if your hands are cold even in summer, or if you're the one who's always reaching for socks in the middle of the day, this might be your body whispering, "Help me get the blood flowing again." And when you listen, the change can be dramatic. But we're not done yet, because number 4 is a vitamin most seniors have heard of, but almost everyone is using wrong. And it could be the reason your muscles aren't recovering the way they should. This one might feel a little familiar at first, until I reveal why it's quietly failing most seniors. Stay tuned. Number 4 is vitamin C, but not the way you think. You've probably heard vitamin C helps with colds. Maybe you pop a chewable orange tablet when flu season rolls around. But for aging muscles and weak legs, this vitamin is playing a far more powerful and far more overlooked role. Because vitamin C isn't just for immunity, it's the scaffolding your legs are built on. Let me explain. Every tendon, ligament, and muscle fiber in your lower body is held together by collagen, that stretchy, fibrous material that acts like the body's duct tape. And guess what collagen needs to form? Vitamin C. Without it, your collagen production plummets. And that's when you start to feel it. Your knees creak more. Your Achilles tendon feels tight in the morning. Your calves feel like they've lost their bounce. You notice you're not as steady when you go downstairs. Does this sound familiar? It's not a coincidence. In fact, several studies, including ones from Harvard and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, have linked low vitamin C intake to poor muscle strength and slower walking speed in adults over 60. Why? Because when your body lacks the raw materials for collagen, your connective tissues become brittle. Think of an old rubber band left out in the sun, stiff, dry, and prone to snapping. Now imagine trying to walk confidently on ankles and knees built like that. It's no wonder leg strength starts to fade. But it gets worse. Vitamin C is also a critical antioxidant, which means it helps neutralize the inflammation that builds up in sore joints and tired muscles. Without enough of it, your recovery slows to a crawl. Ever notice how a light walk leaves your thighs sore the next day? Or how a bit of gardening now leads to 2 days of fatigue? Low vitamin C might be the reason. And here's something most people miss. Your body doesn't store vitamin C well. It's water-soluble, which means it washes out daily, especially if you're drinking coffee or taking medications like diuretics or statins. So even if you eat a salad once in a while, it's probably not enough. But here's the good news. Getting enough doesn't require supplements. 1 orange, a handful of strawberries, some red bell peppers lightly roasted, or even a cup of steamed broccoli. These aren't just colorful, they're collagen gold mines when paired with light exercise. And when vitamin C levels rise, your body starts to repair, naturally. Tendons become more elastic. Your walking stride smooths out. And those tiny aches that made you hesitant to stand up from the couch start to fade. It's subtle at first. But for thousands of older adults, it's the beginning of renewed movement, strength, and trust in their body again. But we're not stopping here, because number 3 is even more misunderstood, a vitamin that sounds boring, but secretly powers every muscle contraction in your body, including your heart. And if you've been feeling off balance, or like your legs just don't fire the way they used to, this could be the missing link. Stick around. If something in this video made you pause and think, don't let it slip away. Hit that subscribe button now. We break down senior health myths and give you proven, practical tools every single week. And if you're craving a more supportive space, one built for real people, not perfect ones, visit thegoldenyearsrx.com. That's where the deeper healing starts. Now here's something unexpected at number 3, and it's not flashy, trendy, or even that well known. But it's absolutely essential if your legs have started feeling like they're working against you. Number 3 is magnesium. And before you tune out, thinking this is just another mineral you've heard tossed around, give me 60 seconds. Because what I'm about to share might explain why your legs feel weak, why you keep getting muscle cramps, and why your balance isn't what it used to be. See, magnesium is the unsung hero behind every muscle contraction in your body. From lifting your feet to shifting your weight, even standing without swaying, none of that happens without magnesium. Here's the problem. As we age, our bodies absorb less magnesium, and at the same time, we lose more through our kidneys. Add in a diet low in leafy greens and high in processed foods, and it's no wonder nearly 70% of adults over 60 are chronically deficient. What happens when that happens? Muscles stop communicating properly. They either lock up or become too weak to fire at full strength. It's why so many seniors report things like waking up with calf cramps in the middle of the night, feeling like your legs give out when you stand too fast, or getting that jittery, off-balance sensation when walking on uneven ground. That's not age. That's a magnesium shortage. In fact, a study published in Nutrients showed that seniors with higher magnesium levels had significantly better grip strength, faster walking speed, and lower risk of falls than those who were deficient. Let's pause for a second. Have you been feeling that loss of stability lately? Have your legs felt more like strangers than allies? You're not imagining it. And it's not just getting older. It might be your cells crying out for this vital mineral. But don't worry, the fix is gentle, simple, and incredibly effective. You don't need to pop handfuls of pills. Magnesium-rich foods are easy to integrate. A bowl of oatmeal with pumpkin seeds. A spinach smoothie with a spoon of almond butter. Even a square or two of 85% dark chocolate has a hidden magnesium bonus. And when your body starts getting what it needs, the change is almost cellular. Your muscles fire more cleanly. Your gait feels smoother. You stop bracing yourself on the railing as you step off the curb. You walk into rooms without fearing you'll forget why. Magnesium doesn't just support your legs, it supports your nervous system and brain, too. So, if you've been feeling both weak and foggy, magnesium might be the thread connecting it all. But before you run off to the health store, stay tuned. Because number 2 on our list isn't a mineral or a vitamin at all. It's a hormone-like nutrient that doctors are just now realizing is essential for senior strength, especially when it comes to preventing falls and restoring full leg coordination. You've probably heard the name, but chances are no one ever told you how deeply it's tied to your legs, energy, and independence. Let's uncover it together. Number 2 is something that isn't technically a vitamin, but for seniors, it might be the most crucial nutrient for leg strength, fall prevention, and daily confidence. We're talking about vitamin D, or more accurately, the hormone your body makes when exposed to sunlight. Now, you've likely heard that vitamin D is good for bones. But what most seniors don't know is that low vitamin D levels are directly linked to muscle weakness, instability, and even leg tremors, especially in people over 60. Here's what's really wild. You might be taking calcium, drinking your milk, eating leafy greens, but if your vitamin D levels are low, your body can't absorb or use that calcium properly. It just floats around in your bloodstream instead of going where you need it, into your bones and into your muscle function. That's right. Vitamin D has receptors in your muscles. And when those receptors don't get activated, your leg muscles become slow to respond, Coordination slips. You may not notice at first, but over time, it's what makes people feel like they're shuffling, hesitating before taking stairs, or needing extra support when getting up. It's not just fatigue, it's a neuromuscular lag, and vitamin D is the key. Harvard researchers found that seniors with low vitamin D levels had significantly lower limb strength, especially in the thighs and glutes, the exact muscles we rely on to stand, walk, and prevent falls. Let's stop and reflect for a moment. Have you ever stood up and felt a wobble? Noticed your knees don't seem to lock in like they used to? Or that sensation like your steps are shorter, or your legs feel like they're just trailing behind? That's what low vitamin D can do. And here's the kicker. Almost 80% of seniors are either deficient or on the edge of deficiency. Why? Because we naturally make less vitamin D as we age. We spend more time indoors or fully clothed. And even if we're outside, most older skin doesn't synthesize sunlight the same way it did decades ago. But there's hope, and it's beautifully simple. You can boost vitamin D with safe sunlight exposure. Sure, about 10 to 20 minutes a day on arms and legs can help in spring and summer. But even more reliably, supplement with D3, the active form your body uses. Pair it with vitamin K2, we'll talk more about that in a moment, to make sure it goes to your bones and muscles, not your arteries. And guess what starts to shift? Balance, mood, leg strength, energy when you first wake up. Even your brain fog may start to lift because vitamin D also regulates key neurotransmitters that affect memory and alertness. Now, imagine being able to walk across a room without thinking about it, standing up without the slight delay, feeling more secure with every step. That's the power of a nutrient your body once made with ease and can still benefit from if you know how to support it. But hold on, because number one is coming up next, and it's the most surprising item on our entire list. It's not a vitamin you'll find on many senior checklists, but it's something that quietly restores circulation, revives stamina, and has been shown in recent studies to rebuild muscle fibers directly, especially in the legs. Get ready, number one might just change how you walk, stand, and move for the next decade. This one isn't just a vitamin. It's more like a spark plug for your entire body, one that helps rebuild muscle, restore oxygen flow, and even reverse some of the quiet damage that's been holding your legs back for years. It's called coenzyme Q10, or simply CoQ10. You may have heard of it in passing, maybe seen it on a supplement bottle and brushed it off. But here's what most seniors have never been told. CoQ10 is absolutely essential for energy production inside your cells, especially your muscle cells, which use the most energy of all. Now here's where it gets fascinating. As we age, our natural CoQ10 levels plummet. In fact, by the time we hit 60, our levels can be half of what they were in our 20s. That's not just about energy dips. It's about how well your legs function. Because without enough CoQ10, your leg muscles struggle to get the oxygen and ATP they need. That's like trying to climb a hill on a bicycle with flat tires and no chain. The muscles are there, but they can't fire, contract, or recover properly. So, what does this look like in everyday life? You might find your legs giving out halfway through a walk. You might wake up sore for no reason. Or you might feel like your steps are uneven, strong one moment, shaky the next. It's a classic sign that your mitochondria, the batteries inside each muscle cell, aren't getting the fuel they need. And the number one nutrient that fuels them? CoQ10. In one placebo-controlled study from Japan, seniors who supplemented with CoQ10 saw dramatic improvements in leg strength, walking distance, and fatigue resistance, all within just 6 weeks. And because CoQ10 also supports your heart and blood vessels, you may notice a double benefit: better circulation, which means more oxygen and nutrients actually reach your legs. But here's something most people don't realize. Many common medications, especially statins, deplete CoQ10 levels even further. That means if you're taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, you may be unknowingly draining the very nutrient your muscles rely on to stay strong. Now here's the uplifting part. You can get Coke 10 back. But you need the right form, specifically ubiquinol, the active version your body can absorb easily. Take it in the morning with a small amount of fat, like avocado or olive oil, and give it a few weeks. You may notice your legs feel more responsive. Your balance improves. And that strange lag, the one between thinking step and actually stepping, starts to disappear. It's not a miracle cure, but it's one of the few supplements backed by real clinical data showing a measurable difference in senior mobility. And when your legs feel strong, your entire world opens up again. The stairs don't intimidate you. You don't need to map every bathroom stop before a walk. And you start trusting your body again to support you, carry you, and move with you. That's what this whole countdown was about. It's not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming strength so you can move freely, live confidently, and enjoy life on your own 2 feet. If this resonated with you, if you felt even one of these 10 vitamins could help you walk taller, steadier, and with more ease, then now's the time to take the next step. If you're looking for real, compassionate guidance to stay sharp, energized, and independent after 60, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week to help you feel better, think clearer, and age on your own terms. And if you want to go deeper, to join a community of seniors who are using natural tools to take back control of their health, head to thegoldenyearsrx.com. It's your home base for healing, learning, and support. Now take care of those legs. They've carried you this far. And with the right support, they'll carry you a lot further.